What is going on, guys? This is your boy XQ420. Welcome y'all back. Another episode, Showtime with the Cube. I've got my co-host with me, as always, the powerful Corey Hughes. Corey, how you doing tonight?
Excellent, man. Excellent. I've been ready to rock and roll on this review for like a week, but I'm glad
at least a week, right?
I'm glad we're finally getting it done.
Oh yeah, at least a week. I mean, Corey is real thrilled about his homework. As always, as good students are, they're always thrilled about their homework. So he just wanted to postpone this a little while so we could soak it all in. Let's just say that. That's why it was postponed, guys. He wanted to soak it all in. Now, if it's the first time to this channel, don't hesitate to hit the subscribe button. If you listen to us on podcast platforms and haven't followed us yet, please do so. You will not regret it. We appreciate everybody who has checked us out so far. So today, guys, we are jumping in to Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. All right. And they ain't lying when they said Wakanda Forever, because this movie was forever. 2 hours and 41 minutes long. It was definitely lengthy, maybe a little bit too lengthy. Let's just say that. That's how I felt. There were some things that definitely they could have cut out. But first, we're gonna do like we did last time. We're gonna do various things. We'll start with the visuals, go into the characters, and then finally the plot breakdown as we did last time. So let's just go first off, the visuals. How'd you feel about the CGI, all the visuals in this particular film?
You know, being amazing visually is just kind of their baseline, and I'm tired of stuff that glows. You know, like I'm just burned out on it. I want to go watch like a courtroom drama or something where you don't need stuff blowing up.
Well, you know, this is a key concept in it, because we've had quite a few MCU projects right here recently that has actually lacked on visuals and things of that nature as far as the CGI aspect of it. So I think they did everything pretty well here as far as overall. Of course, the grand scale. I don't know, the underwater city Talokan. It just kind of seemed like, you know what I'm saying?
There was a lot of that in this movie. A lot of that.
It was like, I was like, oh yeah, look at this vast city. Somehow I made the sun underneath water that nobody has picked up on. Hey, look, but that's okay. All right. I mean, that's part of the plot that we don't need to worry about. All right, right now. So visually, okay. So they did very good visual wise. Plenty of things exploded, except they exploded with water, not with fire.
Yeah.
Fire.
So I don't think
it's plenty of explosions, but it won't like your typical explosions. These were
right.
water explosions.
I don't think there was as much destruction as there has been in some recent superhero films that we've seen, where they just destroy the door just because they want to walk through it. You know, like there wasn't a lot of gratuitous blowing up of buildings, which I thought was good.
Yep.
I thought that everything was fine. You know, the problems that I have with the visuals are more correlated with holes in the plot line than anything else. You know, like, why is Wakanda so super advanced and have anti-gravity, but like the rest of the world's a bunch of country bumpkins? Like, what's going on here?
Hey, look, man. These particular set of black people are very advanced, okay? They've got great scientists, and they have not shared any of their advancements with the rest of Africa. Yeah. So very selfish.
Since we're talking about the visuals and how things look, let me just say this. This movie was filled with all kinds of women, and I didn't want to bang a single one of them. That's a problem when you go to the movies. Are
you sure not a single one of them?
Not a single one.
Nakia
maybe Julia Dreyfus, for old time's sake.
Nakia had the fat booty in this. Now she had the fat booty.
Was that the guard? Bald guard?
No. Nakia was the one that T'Challa had knocked up. You know who I'm talking about. The one who went and saved Shuri in the cave.
Yeah.
She had the fat booty on her. I'm not gonna skip around.
If
I mean,
anybody,
when it panned down,
if anybody, I thought the guard, the one who gets stripped of her rank later in the film, right? I thought she was the hottest one of the bunch, and she could have used some goddamn hair. So.
Oh man, come on now! Since she was the hottest one, you said, "Hey, look, I had some people at work who went and watched it, and they were like, hey man, the movie was a little bit too long, but said, but did you see the scene where it panned down to Nakia's booty? It's like, damn, I mean, that thing was fat, son. I was like, wow, I mean, y'all objectifying her out here now. Why y'all panning down? She in that skin tight suit.
I thought they went too far out of their way to masculinize the women in this movie.
Yes.
And that was a problem for me. That was a problem for me. And it was so obvious. There's a scene where they're both, the two of them, the princess and the guard, are leaning up against the car when they're out looking for the scientist, right? And they're leaning up against the car, and it looked like two dudes. At first, I'm like, who is that? And then it was like, oh, it's them. So no, that's not a way to get me to spend money on your product. Sorry.
Okay. Well, okay. So we said the visuals lacking a little bit even with the with good looking women. Okay, so we say it's lacking in that particular nature. And I know some people out there, hey man, that's vain. That's vain. But we are dudes, okay? So I mean, give us a break. You know what I'm saying? We got testosterone. I mean, what you want us to do? So visuals decent. Could have had some better looking women, but that's neither here nor there. Okay. Now we're going to just jump right into the characters. Okay. And we're going to go one by one with these characters, with some of our main characters here. So let's start with the protagonist herself, Shuri.
Let me stop you right there.
Is she not protagonist?
That's the problem. That's the problem with this movie. I felt like there was a bunch of protagonists, people, but there was, I thought part of the biggest thing that was lacking was that there was no central character. Male, female, whatever, it doesn't matter. There was no strong central character. And I don't know if that was because Black Panther left a void there, but they didn't fill it. They attempted to fill it towards the end, which we'll get to in the plot part. But it was very disappointing for me because I'm like I'm an hour and a half into the film, and I'm like, which one of these three? Because it came down to three, right? It came down to the guard, the princess, and the queen. It came down. It was like
I never thought it was going to be the queen. I thought it was either going to be the main guard, Shuri, or Nakia. And then of the three, I would have thought it would have been either Nakia or the main guard, because they actually had combat skills.
Well, I wasn't really thinking in as far as Black Panther goes, who would be the Black Panther. Because honestly, by that point in the damn film, I forgot all about the Black Panther. Like, seriously, there was like nothing going on about the Black Panther in this whole goddamn movie. So, but for me, as far as for me trying to decide who was the protagonist, those three, the princess, the queen, and the bodyguard, it felt like it was a war between those three for that position. And that was like, oh my God, it hit me. I'm almost 2 hours into this movie, and this movie is being pushed without a protagonist. And that's just kind of how I felt up until, the last 30 minutes of the film.
Okay.
But it was just it was shocking. It was almost like, it almost made me feel as though a movie had been written for an actor, and then that actor was dead. So all they did was remove his lines from the fucking movie, and that was it. And then that was the movie, right? Like, that's kind of how it feels. Like there was a need for something more, a stronger central character, and there just wasn't one for me.
Okay. So let's go through the first protagonist per se,
Okay.
Shuri. Okay, Shuri. So, what was your overall feeling, seeing how the movie did focus on her more? How did you feel about Shuri's role? How did you feel about her acting? How did you feel about her character overall?
Overall, I felt her character was very tropish. It's nothing we haven't seen before. Smart, or let me compare it to like Tony Stark, right? Like brilliant, has unlimited resources, has like hologram shit floating in the garage. just kind of honestly weak experience-wise, not overly wise, has suffered very little hardship in her life other than the loss of her brother, right? Which seemingly is the end of the goddamn world. So, it seemed like in the beginning she was kind of portrayed as like somewhat weak. And I don't know if that was intentionally for the contrast to later on in the film. But her character was just kind of like status quo for me, like nothing special, kind of to be expected.
Okay, all right. Okay, so that's fair enough. For me, Shuri, I would say that she was very, very rash in her decision making. So she seemed really out of control to the point that it was a detriment to everybody around her. And what was off-putting with that, which I might need to go back and watch the first film, they thought they lost T'Challa in the first film because the last thing they see, Killmonger stab him in the gut and then kick him off the side of the actual cliff. And so at that point in time, they think he's dead there. And it seemed like they handled it better at that point in time than they did in this particular film. Like it just seemed like she was just like really grief ridden to the point where she couldn't even make sound decisions.
Right. And let me just comment on this since we're on characters and on the character of Black Panther itself. And we discussed this, and I think I didn't predict this, but I made this request, and I requested that they don't go into a whole bullshit backstory about his death. Just let him die. Right? He got sick and he died. Period. That's all we needed, and that's all we got, and I super duper applaud them for that. They didn't waste any time on it giving us some, he fought some dude and got killed, or they knew they couldn't do that, because it would diminish the image of the character.
Well, you would have to be like, well, who did he fight? It would have to be somebody powerful. It couldn't just be some run-of-the-mill dude. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If some run-of-the-mill dude just happened to clip him. It won't going to be like that. Of course. But Shuri, when she actually becomes the Black Panther, you know what I'm saying? She didn't have any fighting skills. She didn't seem really adept.
Oh, well, she didn't need fighting skills. But we'll get to that as we get closer to the plot stuff. But she didn't need fighting skills at all.
Yeah,
because they got magic potions that they can drink and poof. And everyone's magical. So there you go.
You still need a set of skills, I feel like. So Shuri's character was very rash. Did I connect with her per se? It was so grief stricken. And in the first film, Killmonger, he is pretty much all of his rage and anger towards the death of his father goes into his quest to become the Black Panther and King of Wakanda. But he seemed so much more in tune with his emotions. He seemed much more calculating and things of that nature, as opposed to, and I guess this could be deemed as the way it actually is, Shuri just overly emotional, rash with the decision making, which is what women usually are. I mean,
totally. She's one of these. She's one of these, I don't want to deal with the troubles of the throne. I just want to save my people. All dramatic like. You know what I mean? Like, what are you even fucking saying?
Oh, boy.
Explain the logistics of this to me, please. Like, we've seen that character before.
Okay.
I felt the characters were very disappointing overall. We're going to talk about the ones that had the most screen time, of course. Right.
Okay, so let's get off Shuri. Let's move to the next one. What do you think about Ramonda Angela Bassett, which was the Queen? How'd you feel about her particular role and how she handled it?
Oh, I thought it was good. I liked her intro scene when. As she is in the United Nations in Switzerland, meeting with the other countries of the
evil white colonizers.
Evil white colonizers. Yep, and that word colonizer was used at least twice in that fucking film.
Yep.
As they are discussing the turning over or lack thereof of the vibranium, once again we're back to some fucking cosmic metal, some cosmic stuff, some rocks.
You gotta have it, man. You
gotta have the cosmic fucking rocks, the rare cosmic rocks that'll change the world.
Yep.
While that's happening, you can see that Wakanda is being invaded by a bunch of evil white dudes in U.S. military uniforms who are attempting to steal their vibranium. All right. And so, of course, because this is a Disney flick, nobody got killed. And during the hearing, the Wakandans walk in their American Navy SEAL-ish prisoners. And
which happened to be all white. Was any all white? They didn't have
I think that's how it is in the SEALs, though, because the SEAls are just as racist as everybody else. So,
oh, okay. So we're going to call them SEALs. I wouldn't even call them SEAls. They probably would use mercenaries. They probably wouldn't use the SEAls.
You're probably right.
They're probably just use
plausible
contracted contracted mercenaries. And so you at least have at least 1 to 2 black dudes. I mean, come on now. Can we sprinkle a black dude in there? But they couldn't.
Yeah, because those private contractors depend on that ESG score to a degree. So
yeah,
they got to have, and black guys can kill people just as good as white guys can kill people. So yeah, I'm sure that's
yeah. Now I will say one thing about Angela Bassett. I thought she had real control over the camera. She was like she seemed like a very strong character. Like she used all this grief. Yeah. She's
got
all
experience.
This grief.
I mean, she's been around for like 50 years or something. But
yeah, so
the magic of Hollywood. She looks pretty good for being 50. I mean,
yeah,
she's probably close to 70, isn't she? Well, how old is she? Let's Google this.
Yeah, they got her picture up here. Let me click on Angela Bassett right here. Angela Bassett. Let's see when she was born. 1958.
Oh, she's younger.
Is when she was born.
She's 64.
And she still looks straight. You know what I'm saying? I mean, a slow Tuesday wouldn't halt you from doing what you need to do. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, guys. I mean, we can't help it. Look, but I really thought that all of her particular scenes, she had great screen presence. Her character seemed to be the exact opposite of Shuri. Even though she was dealing with grief, she's like, look, I still got a nation to run. We still got things we need to do. We still need to try to protect the vibranium. So she seemed very calm, cool, and collected, even though she had lost pretty much everybody for the most part. And she'd been through a shit ton. You know what I'm saying? Lost T'Challa the first time because technically he got dusted and he was gone for 5 years. Then he came back. Then we thought he died again. Then her husband died. And then he died for real this time. It's just like, man, this shit is like all over the place. I'm kicked out of the throne. I'm out here with M'Baku, about to get raped by the savages. Well, I don't know if they're going to get raped or not, but you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, all the stuff she went through, she's like, okay, I understand I went through that, but there's some shit I need to do, okay? I am the queen, so let me hold shit down. So she seemed very calculated. She was able to hold frame, unlike Shuri. So yeah, I thought Angela Bassett's scenes were pretty good as far as overall. So which her name is Ramonda, guys. So let's move over to Riri Williams, and first things first. When and this is the child genius, okay? I mean, it's just like no go for me, bud.
Dun, dun,
I mean,
dun.
yeah, I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, I mean, it's a no go, man. Riri Williams was the worst part of this movie. Her character was completely useless. Go ahead, Corey.
Okay, so all right. So where do I begin? She is only relevant whatsoever because she made a machine that could detect vibranium.
That somehow the CIA gets their hands on.
Right, even though she just made it as a college science fair project. So the CIA gets wind of it, and I'm assuming that this is the item that's being used by these military guys at the bottom of the ocean who are looking for vibranium. And this is in the first 20, 30 minutes of the film. And then all of a sudden, this big marine complex that's above the water, on the bottom of the water. It's all over the fucking water. All of a sudden, there's a sound that starts coming out, and these guys, they start jumping over the side of the fucking.
Oh, you're getting too far out there. You're getting too far out there. You're getting in the plot. You're getting in the plot. Let's not get in the plot. Talk about Riri Williams.
Riri Williams. Well, she made the fucking machine that detected the vibranium, and therefore everybody wanted to kill her. Especially these dumb motherfuckers who were blue at the bottom of the ocean, who we'll get to later on in the show.
Yeah, with the plot. Yeah, but Riri, how did you feel about her character?
Oh, she was she was just a little junior Tony Stark. I mean, she even built her own fucking Iron Man suit. And the dude in the movie, the cop, when they bust in on her, they're even like, dude, she's got an Iron Man suit. They're stealing your own ideas. Marvel is imploding.
Now look, whenever they showed her on college, and if I don't know if you've seen any of the red carpet event, but there's a whole lot of black women up there saying, "Oh yeah, man, this movie's really great. It's showing that black people can be smart." I'm like, black folks out there, they're the worst with their own race, because it's just like, oh man, black people can be smart too. Bruh.
This movie, I just gotta say this fucking movie, I'm never offended for anybody else, but I was offended for black people this whole fucking movie. Really. I thought it was so goddamn insulting. And the fact that all of them spoke English with some fucking weird Swahili accent, I didn't understand that either. There was nothing about how they depicted any of these characters that made them flattering in any way. It was the biggest fucking grift to try to separate black people from their money I've ever seen. And that's all this movie was, really. That's what it was. It was attempting to appeal to black people to get them to go spend their money on it. And that is it. And they fucking failed goddamn miserably. This is one of the worst fucking Marvel films ever. This is on par with She-Hulk, if you ask me.
Oh, come on now. I mean, do we utter She-Hulk in the same vein as anything else? Almost. I mean, that was a travesty on the eyes. But Riri Williams, completely worthless in this movie. I guess you needed somebody for him to fight over. And what threw me off right at the beginning is that, okay, we found the student. Okay, it's a black girl. I said, okay. And then they find her in the room, and she's ghetto. She's a ghetto black girl. I'm like, hold on a second. They ghetto black folks in MIT. Come on now. Let's get serious. Okay? She's talking all ghetto. I'm like, come on now. They ain't no ghetto black folks in MIT. They ain't no black folks from the hood in MIT. Let's get serious, okay? I mean, we talk about MIT.
See, when we first meet her, we come to see that she is extorting the local white male community for hacking grades. And extorting, and I say extorting because it was $800 yesterday, and it was $1,000 today.
Yeah. Inflation, right?
Yeah.
It's inflation.
So that's the first impression we get from her, is that she's an extorting little bitch.
Ain't no doubt about it. And all throughout the film, I know she was supposed to be of help and things of that nature, but she was just kind of there to be fought over. And really, if they deleted her from the film, that would have been fine. And it could have just been
thing, and I don't want to get too much into plot, but they're trying to kill her because she's the one that designed the fucking vibranium detector. And they don't want the U.S. government detecting vibranium, so they got to kill her.
Yeah, but here's what I'm saying.
But here's the problem. The problem is no one at any time is trying to get her laptop to destroy it, right? That's where all the information is, and she even said that. They're just trying to kill her. But they didn't mention the fucking laptop, which is where the goods were. It could have been so much better if they chased down the laptop before they killed her. I mean, so many missed opportunities.
Yeah, there was missed opportunities there. So that's Riri Williams, okay? And let's see. Okay, last but not least, of our main characters in this film, which I can't say M'Baku wasn't main, Okoye wasn't main, because they just didn't have enough quote unquote screen presence.
Yeah, it's like they were almost. To me, it felt like there almost were no main characters. It was a whole bunch of supporting characters, and that was it.
Okay, so we can go into this. To be honest, this movie could have probably been named Namor, because I think he had more screen presence. And so, what do you think about Namor?
Was that the big husky dude?
No, M'Baku, because I'm talking about Namor, the actual quote unquote villain. The
villain.
Serpent, yeah, the feather serpent guy. Yeah,
okay,
Namor. Yeah,
okay.
Well, he's not really a villain. He's something. Okay,
I'm sorry. I'm having an aneurysm over this.
It's okay.
He's one of the worst, fucking dumbest characters ever. So let's talk about his origin story. So he is of the land, right? And so then,
yes,
right, and his mother is pregnant with him, and she undergoes the ritual and drinks some weird stuff with a whole bunch of other people, some herbs from the jungle, and then all of a sudden, everybody turns blue, and they got to go in the water. And so he ends up being born into the water, and when he's born, he's not blue, and he can breathe air, and he actually has wings on his feet. He can fly like Mercury because he had wings on his feet.
I'm not sure why he's got wings on his feet.
His origin story is so dumb, and from him basically spawned an entire race of underwater blue people, even though he's not blue. And this was like biting off of Atlantis, right? This is horrible. What was Atlantis?
Yeah,
that was DC. So Aquaman and Atlantis is all DC.
Well,
so this is obviously Marvel's attempt to rip on something similar to Atlantis.
Well, Namor was supposed to be Atlantis, but they changed it to Talokan. So Namor is supposed to be like the ruler of Atlantis, but they changed it for this film because they didn't want, because DC had already done Atlantis with Aquaman. In the comics, Namor is over Atlantis.
Right. So, but since he couldn't be the Atlantis with the Atlantis backstory, they had to make his mom drink herbs to give birth to him so he has wings on his feet. Because if you're going to be a water person, you need wings on your fucking feet. Like, who the fuck wrote this? Like, seriously, this person should be publicly shamed.
Yeah. Namor, here's what I'll say. Okay. Namor had a couple of, he had a couple of good lines. I feel like he had a couple good lines when he water bombed the castle and killed Angela Bassett. He's like, bury your dead, mourn your losses. I was like, hey, he was real calm about it. He's like, appreciate y'all for letting me stop by. I'll be back later if you keep fucking up, okay? But overall, he was kind of, I guess his character was more of, I will do whatever needs to be done to make sure my people are safe, whether it be create this alliance, which is what I really want, because I understand the Wakandans have a great technology. They understand how to use the vibranium in a different way we don't, and so they can be an asset to us. And or if they keep fucking up, they're gonna find out. Okay, and I'm gonna be very calm about either one. I'm not gonna be overly pissed. All right.
So let me. Since this is the last major character that we're talking about, let's we'll use him as the jump off point for the plot, because he is the plot. He is the central.
He is the plot
person in this film. And
he is the movie. He is the movie. It's not a Black Panther movie. It's a Namor movie.
Correct. I agree with that statement. And so basically, and this I thought was so weak. He doesn't want the land people coming down and finding vibranium. Hence, he wanted to kill the the scientist who created the vibranium finding machine at a spare
Mm-hmm.
parts from Ace Hardware. And so and so basically he goes to the Wakandans and he sneaks in. And remember, Wakanda, nobody can come in because Wakandans, they don't like outsiders and they built a wall. So are they a bunch of racists? I don't really know.
The wall doesn't go underwater though.
It doesn't go underwater. So
Which
really poor planning on their part.
doesn't make any sense.
No, so he swims under the water and he comes out and he flies with his wings on his feet. And he basically says, look, here's the deal. You are going to partner with us and we're going to fight off these land people from finding the vibranium and everything's going to be cool. And
we're both going to find Riri Williams. I'm going to let y'all find her first. Make sure you kill her, okay? Now, this is great negotiating. Hey, look, guys, let's talk about this. I want you to find the scientist, and I want you to kill her, okay? If you can't do that, then I will do it. If you stand in my way, then I will kill y'all. En route to killing her. Capiche? Capiche. All right. That's pretty much the conversation.
Right. And ultimately, he wants an alliance with the Wakandans. And this is where it kind of fell apart for me. It turned to if you don't want to help us, we're just going to kill you just because. No real reason, just because. And that's what I had a real big problem with that. Like, it was a very weak transitional point in the plot. And they could have come up with a lot better, you know.
Well, they stood
maybe
in their
put
way.
more emphasis on the scientist or whatever, but yeah, it was just weak. It was like, hey, if you're not going to help us, we're just going to come back with the army and kill you.
They couldn't put more emphasis on the scientist because it's just like they just couldn't do it, man. Because she's just a bad character. Oh God, and she's gonna have a TV series, Ironheart.
What based on this?
Yeah, she's gonna be Ironheart. That's why they introduced her character. She's having the TV series, and I guarantee you, she's gonna be in Armor Wars too, the movie. About 100,000,000% guarantee that she will be in that movie as well. So we're gonna jump right off into the plot, seeing how we started going into it. And so let's just start from the beginning, okay? Now, I thought the tribute they did to Chadwick Boseman, both at the beginning and the end, I thought that was really good. I thought they did very good as far as handling that, giving him his props as the Black Panther, even though they weren't really sure what to do with the rest of the movie from there, except make it about Namor for the most part. But I thought they did really well with those opening scenes. How'd you feel about that, Corey?
Yeah, they were good. The problem that I have with the level of worship of this guy is that he's known for one film, and it was a subpar film, and everybody hailed him like he was creative fucking genius of the century. It was like it's just like what Hollywood always seems to do. So all that to me would seem like a little bit much, but I mean, I'm talking in general, not in this film, but in general, the overall praise of him was just unwarranted. But no, I thought they were very respectful, and it wasn't they didn't overdo it.
Yeah, because even the Marvel beginning was all Chadwick Boseman in the scenes that he was in from Civil War, because that's where he was first introduced. Civil War to Avengers to his own film, and he was in both Avengers films as well. So yeah, I mean, I thought they did pretty good there. I thought they didn't linger on it too much, even though the grief of T'Challa's death is kind of the center of Shuri's whole presence. Everybody else within the movie kind of wasn't hung up on that except her. Everybody else, because it goes 1 year later from that point in time of his death. So I thought they did okay with that. So we're going to go back to talking about how Namor becomes what he is right now. Now, the actual they're getting devastated by the disease, okay? The smallpox, if I'm correct. I believe that's the case. 1571 fell ill to the plague. And there's this dude who swam in the water, and of course he finds a plant. Now, this particular plant in the water is the same, has the same properties as the heart-shaped flower that the Wakandans had that came from vibranium, a plant that actually grew from the vibranium that would bestow upon you magical powers, okay, per se, give you superhuman strength, speed, things of that nature. Now, they all drank it, okay? They all drank it. So the premise is that this baby was already inside forming, so when the mother actually drank the potion, of course, it says they all technically died and then got reborn. But he, quote unquote, calls himself a mutant. Now, I believe this is actually trying to slowly introduce mutants into the MCU. If I'm correct, I heard from Miss Marvel that they called her a mutant as well. So I think this is the slow introduction of mutants into the MCU. What do you think, Corey? Because you know they got to go that way. You know they're going that way.
Right. I mean, obviously it's going to loop back to the X-Men at some point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, across the board. So the one thing I did not get is that when they woke up and they were all blue, is how did they know to go to the water? They just knew. They just like, shit, we can't breathe. It's like, maybe we should jump in the water.
Yes.
So it's just like...
We can add that to the very long list of holes in this plot. Like, I'm still fucked up on why they got spaceships and anti-gravity. Like, explain it to me. Why the fuck has Wakanda got anti-gravity and spaceships and floating coffins? I don't get it. And the rest of the world lives like a bunch of peasants. Like, what?
Hey, that's the way it is. Now, I want to let you know that they slipped in a little subliminal messaging, because when the Talakanians, when they come back on land, they have to wear masks, except for Namor. They have to wear masks, and I guess they got water in those masks to help them breathe. Which, even though I thought they had gills on the side of their necks, but that's neither here nor there. Okay, so I guess this little bit of water they got on this mask gives you endless supply of the oxygen you need. That's what I'm assuming.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like. But
it seemed like you might need to refresh that thing.
Yes, you would think so. But see, then later they say that they absorb the oxygen through the skin. So who the fuck knows? This is just more bad writing.
Well, that's just Namor. Namor only does that. The rest of them don't. Namor is the only one that is able to be on land and not actually have to have one of the masks. And that's another reason why he's blue, because he already has the genes of a human, and then he got mutated by his mother drinking the said potion. And of course, throughout this film, the dads are dead. There's no fathers anywhere. They're all dead. All single mothers. Throughout the entirety of the film, it's nothing but single mothers. So that's the whole premise of Namor, his origin story. And of course they show him coming back years later after they had built this underwater city. He comes back years later to bury his mother after she passes in the land that they once dwelled upon. And of course he sees the white colonizers. They're there. Okay. And Namor goes and he kicks some ass. Okay. He kicks some white colonizer ass. All right. And then that's where his hatred is born, right there. I think that's the whole premise of that. It said hatred was born here today. When I seen the white colonizers, it was something that just took me over. And they had to make sure that they sprinkle that in all throughout the film. All right. Pretty much, yeah. Everybody from the U.S. was white.
Yes,
I think everybody. Was there anybody black? I don't think so. I think all the police were white. Yeah. I mean, it's just like, okay, we got you. All right. You just can't spring. What happened to diversity hirings? Okay. I guess MCU don't have diversity hirings in their military and all that stuff. Is that correct? Am I correct there?
I think you're correct there. Yeah. I think you're definitely correct.
We got to make sure we do it like that. Okay.
really the underlying propaganda of these fucking movies is just, just unbelievable. It's it's really sick.
Now, when they're actually at the beginning trying to extract said vibranium with the machine, and they're on that ship, it threw me off with the song because it never gives you any explanation. It's just like, how did they know to just start singing this particular tune and it would make people jump into the water? Do they practice?
See, that's the thing. That's a big problem I have with all these goddamn superhero movies. Is that there are logistics to everything in life. Meaning, if they're going to do that mind control song, they got to have chorus practice. Like they got to do that frequently. They didn't mention that at all. When I see all the super duper technology and all the fucking badass stuff that's in Wakanda, I'm like, well, where's the factories that are making that stuff? You got laboratories, or is it just like kind of just poof out of thin air? Right? Like they skip over the logistics of fucking everything.
Yeah, because if you look down at the city, man, they look like they're just living like regular old folks. You know what I'm saying? They got like little huts stay in and stuff, and then it's all of a sudden like, oh yeah, we got spaceships over here, but y'all need to live in a hut down there. They look broke. You know what I'm saying? It's like, hold on a second. There's one portion of the city that look broke as hell, and then, y'all look like y'all got all technology. So, I mean, that's neither here nor there, okay? It's neither here nor there. But it just threw me off with that song, and I was just like, okay, so can somebody give me the explanation of the song? And I thought maybe that they would give that explanation when they went down in the war, but no, it's this magical song that they all of a sudden learn how to sing, and it just makes you jump in the water and drown yourself. And I was like, okay. Now I will give it the one woman who was on the and I know this goes back to the whole film, but out of all the people who were able to put up a fight on the ship, it was the one woman. It was the one woman. If you throughout this film, there are no strong men except Namor, and maybe Atuma from which I guess would be his head general. But other than that, the rest of the men are non-existent throughout this film.
Tell me this. So the first time that we actually see him and his army is on the ship hosting the CIA and the Navy SEALs when all the men start to jump off. When they all jumped up onto the deck of the boat, tell me the first thing that came to your mind was not Jack Sparrow and all the fucking creepy guys from the Black Pearl. The big hammerhead guy. Like, they start hopping up and I'm like, what is going on here?
I mean, it's just like, I was like, okay, hold on a second. So, what I was thinking, I'm like, why do y'all need to jump on the ship when y'all got plenty of folks just jumping off the ship? Hell, you don't even need to jump on it. You just have your chicks out there keep singing. Now I don't know if they're fighters or they just know the swan song. But yeah, and then we end up seeing Namor down in the helicopter from the one woman who was able to put up a fight. And there was a couple things here that didn't make any sense. Like, okay, so the Talokan people, like when they had the fight with Okoye on the bridge, and she stabbed him like fatal blows, and then they like all of a sudden like start doing the jig, and they get up and just like run off. I'm like,
yeah, because when you're blue, you're super strong, right? I guess all the weight of the water and living under the water makes you come up on Earth, and you're super duper strong and can withstand, spear pokes.
Like literally, like she like stabbed him like through the heart, through the neck, and it's just like oh, they just got up. They just got up and just start wigging out and then just run off. I'm like, so are they unkillable? But then when I seen the woman on the ship, when she shot him, it looked like she killed a few of them with the bullets. So I was like,
yeah, this is called bad writing. This is just straight up bad writing.
Something's not adding up. Like the people that Okoye down on the bridge, they shouldn't be getting back up. Am I correct?
You're correct.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. I was like, they shouldn't be getting back up, but they did get back up, and that threw me off completely. All right, completely, because I was like, okay, can somebody give me some explanation of, do they have like some extra regenerative properties that I don't know anything about, or don't leave that stuff out, because I don't want to see them get stabbed in the head and then they, 2 seconds later they jump up and I'm just like, well, hell, they're unkillable. What am I going to do? You know what I'm saying? I mean, the only thing we can do, we're going to have to get the flamethrowers out, which I'm kind of wondering why they didn't think about that.
What, flamethrowers?
Yeah, like Wakandans. It's just like, well, hell, they ain't going to do good with heat. Get the flamethrowers. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
They got everything else.
Maybe they're just not that smart.
There's potential for that. There's potential for that to happen. So of course, as we spoke earlier about the UN meeting, they nailed the colonizers, and that whole break-in at the Wakandan station to steal the vibranium. I'm like, y'all went through that whole battle and didn't nobody die? Nobody. How was it possible?
I
Bullets
mean,
flying.
There's one scene where a guy gets double stabbed with these like glowy daggers, and then like he didn't die.
Yeah. So they don't actually stab you; they just shock you.
Ah, I see.
Hey, they just shock you. That's all they do. But then Okoye was very mad at her. So why don't you have your traditional spear? You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, hell, you didn't kill anybody either, Okoye. I mean, so what we talking about? It's just a lot of down, folks. So they had to make them kneel in front of everybody, and Angela Bassett allowed people to know that, hey, if you try to step on us again, there's gonna be some problems. Okay, there's gonna be some problems around here. And of course, they got France and they got the U.S. up there. Was it France?
Yes.
Wasn't it France? Yeah, okay,
yep.
Yeah. Why France? I don't know. I mean, I would have thought maybe England, Great Britain, or something. But I mean, but France. You know what I'm saying? So they got the French. I'm like. Why? I guess just because. And everybody wants this vibranium. Even though Captain America's got a shield made from vibranium. Am I missing something here on the vibranium? I mean,
I'm missing everything. I'm still wondering why this movie was made.
Well, you see, as you said before, it seems like they had an idea in mind, and then T'Challa died, and they're like, can y'all hurry up and do something about this? Because we're supposed to have a movie out in the next year. You know what I'm saying? So scrap something together. You know what I'm saying? And I think it'd have been a whole lot better with an actual Black Panther in it. Which I thought they should have just recast it.
Yes, I mean it's been done before. They've replaced people.
I thought it just should have been a recast. Because didn't they do that to Bruce Lee's son in The Crow?
Yeah,
right?
but those sequels kind of sucked. Those sequels were like low budget. Those were barely sequels.
Well, that's fair enough. Well, I mean, they didn't just go away from that. So I thought they would have just been better to find somebody else who would have had that good a screen presence and just replace T'Challa and then made the film from there. I thought that would have been the better. They still could have did the commemoration to him with the Marvel intro and then the outro that they did. I'd have been fine with that. But I really think that this movie needed an actual Black Panther in it to kind of hold it together, as opposed to it being pretty much strictly about Namor and his people for the most part.
I mean, literally, Black Panther was in this movie for about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's it. There was a Black Panther in the movie for about 10 minutes. And honestly, I didn't even have a problem with her being in the Black Panther. And we're talking about the princess.
Yeah, sure.
Obviously. Yep. The protagonist of the fucking film.
Protagonist, yeah.
So, but she did, I think the suit looked good. We got the nanotechnology helmet. I thought overall she did okay. I didn't have a problem with her performance.
Dang, man. You see, I feel otherwise, man. I was just like, she was the last one that I was thinking was going to be the Black Panther. I ain't going to lie to you. She got no skills. She got no. And look, here's the issue, okay? Here's the issue with the Black Panther mantle. It's the fact that somebody can vie for the position, and you have to fight them without powers. How is Shuri going to kick M'Baku's ass? Let somebody know. Let me know. M'Baku been trying to be Black Panther for I don't know how long. I don't know how long he been ruler over the snow over there. And they know black people don't like ice and snow and shit. They don't like being cold, all right, if they can help it. But it's like, yo, if he said, hey, and at the end he kind of shows up as like, hey, I'm here to vie for mantle of the Black Panther, and Shuri's off with Nadia. And I'm just like, what's going on here?
That was confusing. It was weird. It was like, why was this here? It was like the scene that was supposed to get cut and they forgot to cut it.
It's just like, so I'm just like, okay, so they got to strip Shuri of her powers. And so how is she going to fight M'Baku again? Mano a mano? Like, it's not even going to be a fight. Like, he's going to hit her one time and it's going to be like, all right, I'm Black Panther now. I mean, that's my whole premise. I'm like, man, you got to have at least one of these women who have natural fighting skills. Natural fighting skills. Mm-hmm. All right.
This movie didn't seem to have a lot of the choreographed stuff. I mean, it did have some, but it didn't have a lot of choreographed fight scenes that were as good as some of the other Avengers movies and whatnot.
It didn't at all. The hand-to-hand combat was actually fairly lackluster in this one. It was more water balloon explosions and Namor fucking shit up.
That was some weird shit. Like, because it's a scientific fact you can't compress water. So how did they get all that water in them little cubes?
Man, look. Suspend belief. Isn't that it?
Hey, that only works when I say so.
It's suspend belief here, okay? Suspend belief a little bit, okay? Suspend belief, all right? So more on this film. Look, there was another character in this film that was absolutely worthless. Everett Ross, which is their CIA informant. Delete him from the movie. No purpose. You know who I'm talking about, right? The white dude who was formerly
you're talking Bilbo Baggins.
Yeah, who was formerly Val's husband, which Val is trying to get together the Thunderbolts. We actually see her in Falcon and the Winter Soldier at the end, telling the quote unquote, which she's not Captain America anymore, but the new Captain America, I got something planned for you. So it's just like Everett Ross. I'm just like, he's just such a blah character. It's just like, well, we just need somebody in here to tie the CIA back to this. And I'm just like, just get the U.S. out the movie. Just get them out the movie. You know what I'm saying? Get the U.S., France, whoever. Let's remove them from the movie completely. Because they're not helping me at all. Everett Ross didn't do anything. You just be like, well, they saved me. We got you, Everett Ross. You done told us that 8 times that they saved you. You got shot. They pulled the bullet out of you. Kept you from being paralyzed. They said, I got you. All right. But you about to fuck up your whole life and go to jail, bud. And I mean, they ain't reciprocating much right now. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like Everett Ross, he was just kind of stuck in there. And I guess he was just stuck in there because he was in the first one. So I guess they're like, well, we kind of got to stick him in there again because technically he would be their inside man to what the CIA is thinking.
Yep. Another one of those contract things that they had to execute.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much what it seemed like for the most part. Now, when they actually got Riri and they had the fight on the bridge and Okoye ends up getting her ass whooped by Tuma, and they take Riri and Shuri. There's this weird moment underneath the water where Namor is just showing her everything. Oh, hey, yeah, come with me. I'll show you all of it. I'm just like, hold on, what?
Well, it seemed like it was an olive branch, a peace offering, and it didn't seem overly out of place to me. It was interesting.
Yeah, but with how protective he was over his people, and how Shuri was just like the whole time, like, I can't let you kill Riri. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I just can't let you do that. Then he should have knew that, okay, you're going to show her all this, but that ain't going to change her mind. Like at all. Which somehow they built this underwater city, and somehow he made a sun, which I'm not sure why they need one. I got no idea. I guess just to have one. They made a sun from vibranium.
Oh, I must have missed that part. I don't recall what you're talking about.
Oh yeah, from like the temple, like there was like this ball of light that popped up. It's like, I made the sun underneath here. I'm just like, oh, okay.
Oh yes, yes, yeah. Yeah, you'd think that like the NASA satellites would pick that up or something, but of course he used some sort of like anti-fucking vibranium spying technology, so nobody could detect the sun.
Mm-hmm. Right. Of course. And so this vibranium, of course, everybody is, they're gung ho over this vibranium. And I mean, I get it. It's technically the strongest metal until, quote unquote, adamantium, if I'm correct. I think adamantium is stronger than vibranium.
That's the Wolverine stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Wolverine, Omega Red. So adamantium. But everybody's gung ho over this vibranium. Everybody wants it. But I don't know if anybody's going to know what to do with it. And the whole premise of actually going and kidnapping Riri, I'm just like, well, don't you think somebody from the CIA would have already reverse engineered this thing and just have more?
Oh, yeah. The plot was so goddamn thin when it came to their wanting to kill her. I was like, what? This is ridiculous. Yeah,
because if the CIA already has it, don't you think they would already have scientists who would have broke this thing down and been able to reverse engineer it to make more of them? That would have made sense.
But somehow it ended up in the hands of the Wakandans, and so did the laptop. So I don't recall that happening. Did they steal it from the bottom of the ocean? Because remember the team that was looking for vibranium on the bottom of the ocean, they had it. So how did it then all of a sudden get in the hands of the Wakandans?
Yeah. Oh, well, actually, it's because Namor left it on that beach. He drug it with him. Yeah, I don't know if that part might, because it was real quick glimpse over. But when Namor actually leaves, they turn around and the actual vibranium machine is on their beach.
Oh, yes. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I recall that. I was a little confused at that moment in the film. I'm like, what is that?
Yeah, but I still would have been like, they still should have some prototypes or some outlines or something. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like, all right, well, this is the only one. Hey, guys, let's not research into how she did this. This is something we need to do immediately. We need to send this thing to the ocean immediately. We need what made them think to start scoping the ocean for vibranium? Are they just picking random places? And, of course, the explanation there is like, oh, well, there must have been multiple meteorites because this vibranium's from somewhere in space.
Right. So they went through a logical chain of events really quickly and then made a very rash decision based on it. So they theorized that there must be more vibranium because of the meteorite. There must have been, right? There must have been a second meteorite. They don't know. They're guessing. And that second meteorite must have hit in the ocean. So now they must go find it. Yeah, that was so logically flawed. Like, I can't even fucking believe it. I mean, it was really quite shocking.
Hey, because you got to think how big the ocean is, and your likelihood of you just like, oh shit, I found something. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, and it just happened to be over the city of Talokan. What do you know? It's just like, man, there's a lot of chain of events happening right there, without a shadow of a doubt. Now, one of the things that we hadn't spoke about yet is Okoye actually lost her position as head of the Dharmaru. I don't know if I'm saying that name right. I probably did. I might have. Dharma, but that's the women soldiers, because she lost Shuri. Angela Bassett, Ramonda, is very pissed, and Okoye is stripped of her title immediately, even though she's the number one badass of that particular tribe of women warriors. And at that point in time, she's really destroyed, and I guess they try to bring some emotion with her character, but I don't know. She didn't have enough screen presence for that to carry a whole lot of weight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She just really doesn't, because all throughout the film, she's just been kind of more of like, okay, I'm just in the movie as somebody who does fighting at times when we need fighting, as opposed to being a major central character that you can focus on and kind of interact with in a way where you get an emotional connection per se. What do you think about that?
Yeah, like I didn't have an emotional connection with any character in this film. I didn't hate the bad guy enough.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like the heroes enough. Like, they didn't do a good job at getting you to like any of these people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was kind of one of those things, and I think the reason it is because I think this particular film, they were tiptoeing the line so much of trying to keep Namor in the realm of being a hero eventually. And so they just tiptoed that line, even though he killed plenty of people in Wakanda.
Yes.
He did some killing, all right? All those anti-gravity spaceships that he destroyed, cut in two, and all that shit. I mean, it's just like, he's able to dance across the sky with his winged feet. And I mean, he really, whatever, I'm assuming his blade's made of vibranium. His was, what do you call it? Necklace per se.
It's like a cuirass? A cuirass.
A cuirass that was made of vibranium. And another moment in this movie that didn't make sense to me is that he's got the bracelet that his mom had worn or had made, and he just decides to give it to Shuri. And I'm just like, would that be like sacred? You wouldn't just want to give that up.
Yeah, but it could be interpreted as a extending a peace offering.
Yeah, but that's from your mom, though. Look, bud,
yeah,
let me tell
I see
you,
what you're saying.
Let me tell you something right now, okay? If I've got something that's near and dear to my heart, I just ain't gonna give that shit away. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, that happened to be the one thing that Shuri needed to remake the heart-shaped flower. That was the one thing. It had the strand on it, and they smushed it up. And I guess if I'm correct from her, she was interacting with the DNA of T'Challa and also with the heart-shaped flower, if I'm correct, from the way it looked. With that, whatever that graph she had up, of the DNA sample. Which, like I said, Wakanda's very advanced, and everybody else sucks. All right. I mean, I'm just trying to figure out when everybody else is going to get this great technology. Now Riri was there, so they had to get the heart-shaped flower back in the mix because that was the way they were going to get the Black Panther back. Now, of course, we get a moment during that time when Shuri goes to the ancestral plane, and the person she meets is Killmonger, which was, I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting that at all. I can't hear you. You're muted. You're muted.
I'm not familiar with that character. He was in the first film, correct?
Yeah. Killmonger was the villain of the first film.
Right. Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen that one. I probably should have watched it before I watched this, but to have to sit through like 5+ hours of Wakanda, I don't think I could have done it.
Man, that's 2 hours, 41 minutes, 5+ hours. Yeah, but I wasn't expecting Michael B. Jordan to be in this movie. And to be honest with you, I mean, he had more of a screen presence during that time. Because I don't know, like for me, I really enjoyed the first film. For me, and I enjoyed the first film more than this one, because the motives of the villain and everything, it really gave a complete backstory of the villain, his motives, his intentions, and also it also can make you feel sympathetic for the villain as well, because he's about revenge for his father's death, not understanding what his father was doing at that time. Right. So it can make him more of a sympathetic character. But obviously during that time, Shuri's her ancestral visit is him because she's filled with rage. And so Killmonger's like, hey, you just like me. You just want to tear shit up. So let's go tear shit up, all right? Now, of course, at that time, as always, the Wakandans had evacuated the main city, and because Namor had came through and fucked it up, had water ballooned the whole place. And I'm still not understanding the water balloons, man. That's what I'm gonna call it, man. I'm just like, man, these water balloons they got, Bo, they devastate. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they're devastating. And so after he water ballooned the place, flooded most of the place out, they went into the mountains. And this is and during that time, Shuri had actually went to the ancestral plane, had came back. She was extremely pissed with who she's seen. And I don't think she ever told anybody who she actually seen in the ancestral plane, because I think she had some shame on who she seen. She thought she was going to see her brother. Right. She thought she was going to see her brother, and she didn't. So that lets you know that even though Killmonger was quote unquote a villain, he still moved on to the ancestral plane. Which I guess it doesn't have any favoritism. It's just like if you were once the Black Panther and you die, then you just go to the ancestral plane. That's just it. Regardless of whether you were quote unquote a good guy or a bad guy. So she immediately goes to where M'Baku's at, and this is another weird moment because she jumps down in a Black Panther suit, and I guess to make sure that she was the Black Panther, they have an arm wrestling contest.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, hold on, do what?
She couldn't crush a rock or something. I mean, smash a boulder on her head, something.
I mean, I was like, bro, what is this? Why are they arm wrestling? Okay, so this is how you know. I was like, all right. And at that point in time, M'Baku, he had encountered Namor during the fight at Wakanda, and he had whooped a few of the Talokanians. I guess that's what I'll call them. Fish people, a few of the fish people. And when he goes and he tries to strike Namor with his club, it breaks over his back, and Namor hits him one time in the chest, which should have collapsed his whole chest. As hard as he hit him and as far as he hit him back, M'Baku is a mortal man, and that should have killed him. One punch.
Yes. Absolutely.
That should have been it for M'Baku. Because he knocked him probably about a good 50 feet back, and he completely crushed his breastplate. So I guess that breastplate had to be made of vibranium. That's what I'm assuming, right, to absorb that hit. All right, so that's what we're going to assume here, guys. All right, that's what we're going to assume. So M'Baku, he's over there and he's speaking to the people, and he's like, guys, we just go attack him, and we could be waging all-out war because they believe that Namor is a god. They call him Kukulkan. All right. The feather serpent god. All right, even though I guess feathered because of his feet. The wings on which I'm still not getting the wings on the feet. Can you help me out, Corey?
I can't, because the wings, if you'll notice, the wings, they didn't even have webbing for the water. The wings had feathers like a fucking bird.
Which I'm assuming the regular Namor has wings on his feet too, but I'm just like, it's just something about it that I just don't get. And he does, which they call him the Submariner, but it's something about that I just don't grasp. And maybe somebody will be able to help us out with that. All right, maybe somebody will be able to help us out. And another thing I didn't get is that Namor's got a dad bod. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, did they not require you to do any type of working out for this movie? No, I'm not saying he ain't fat, but
right,
he's not like some overwhelming.
He's almost
presence.
got some man boobs on him.
Yeah, I mean, just it's like, why's Namor got a dad bod out here? I mean, they ain't want you to lift no weights for this thing, dog. I mean, nothing. Get a personal trainer or nothing? I said, Nemora's got a dad bod. I'm like, and if you go look at Namor in the comics, man's ripped up, okay? Man's ripped up, all right? Without a shadow of a doubt. And then they're just like, nah, dad bods are in right now. I've been seeing that a whole lot on women's posts and stuff. Like, oh, yeah, I love a dad bod. I'm like,
really?
Yeah, I'm like, stop lying. I'm like, stop lying, man. You know what I'm saying? It's okay. You ain't got to lie to us, all right? You'll accept the dad bod because a lot of men have them, all right?
Like 90%?
Yeah. So I mean, you'll have to accept one. But I was just sitting there. I'm like, hold on. Now, these folks swim all day and stuff, and I figured they only eat like fish, so they should be wrapped. They should be ripped. Yeah, it
totally
should be ripped. You know what I'm saying? Because they have to work out the whole day. You know what I'm saying? I mean, swimming's a workout, all right? So they have to work out the whole day. So I was like, I was thinking that they could be the case, but no, they decided to keep Namor in a dad bod. And I guess for this particular film, I guess that's okay. So we move over into the quote unquote climax of the film. All right, after Shuri has became the Black Panther, and of course we didn't speak about it earlier, but Angela Bassett had got Nadia to actually retrieve Shuri and Riri Williams, which was kind of short lived. As far as her finding them, she just pretty much finds them and brings them back, which Nadia wasn't a main part of the film at all. But we moved to the quote-unquote climax, and they have figured out that, hey, I believe that Namor gets oxygen through his skin, okay? So if we're able to dry his skin out, then we can weaken him enough to whoop him. Now, from what the writers have said, Namor is on the same strength level as Thor, and he can even get as strong as the Hulk if he's around enough water.
Interesting.
So, what do I think about strong as the Hulk? With the Hulk, his strength is really, well, I don't know. The Hulk now strength may be limited, but the true Hulk,
the Hulk's a beta male now.
Yeah, the true Hulk. The true Hulk, his strength is not limited, okay? The more you damage him, the more pissed he gets, the stronger he becomes. Mm-hmm. That's the whole premise of the Hulk, as being the unstoppable force. So they're saying he's on the same power level. That's what the writers are telling us. So they came up with this plan. And so they actually go out and they're trying to lure Namor out. So they go out on their one naval ship. I'm guessing they only have one naval ship. That the Wakandans, that's all they've got. Oh, you're muted.
They're the most advanced nation in the fucking world. They should have a dozen ships or hundreds of ships, like not just one.
They've got one naval ship. That's what it looks like.
Right.
I mean that's pretty much it. And during that time, we actually see. Well, we don't really see it, but Riri makes her own Iron Man suit.
Yes, that looks like a Power Ranger.
Yeah, and once again, Riri, she's just a no for me. She's a no around the board.
I agree. She had an opportunity to be a much better character, but she was definitely miscast.
Yeah, miscast, and it's just something about her screen presence. It was just like, I'm not interested in her character at all. Like, even moving forward, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you can be like, oh, well, maybe I don't think they reached the potential of this character. I don't see potential in this character.
No, I don't see it going anywhere. So I'm surprised that she'd be showing up in any of the other Marvel Cinematic Universe endeavors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she will. As I said, she's gonna have her own show, which I'm assuming is still gonna be her. That they're not gonna recast it. So that's gonna be neither here nor there. Once that comes out, of course we'll be reviewing it, guys. But it looks like that may be a tough watch as well. But okay, so they're setting up in the ocean. They got the vessel. They're luring the Talaconians into a trap. All right. Um, and to be honest, the Wakandans get their ass kicked on that ship, man.
Yeah, they were.
They get the dog shit kicked out of them. Now, the first things first is that it starts off with them singing that damn song. And they got folk jumping off the ship. I'm like, hold on. I said, this is the damn song again. They getting them with the song. And then when they jump off the ship, they stab them in the water. Mm-hmm. Now they took major casualties during this battle. The Wakandans. Because that top deck was full of Wakandans, all right? They take major casualties during this particular battle. And when Shuri had made that armor that was supposed to give you superhuman strength, you know, the one that she had those two prototypes, which I don't know if this would be part of Armor Wars or not either. She calls it the Midnight Angel. It's a Midnight Angel armor, okay? And she gives it to Okoye and that other black ball-headed woman. It might be Ayo. I think that's her. No, Anika.
That's the bodyguard.
Yeah. Okoye and Anika. Yeah. So I thought I was going to see something spectacular with them in that suit, and they didn't do no ass kicking at all, hardly.
No, it was just them zipping around the screen, pretty much.
Yeah, it's just the battles right here at the end, because you know you're supposed to have your major spectacle at the end. The battles at the end left something to be desired, like a lot to be desired.
Yes, this entire film got phoned in, and these battle scenes were no different.
Yeah, because it just kind of seemed like flashes of action in the camera, and you never seen a whole lot of like individual fights per se.
Right.
Build up within the individual fights. You do see Atuma and Okoye meet up once again, which Okoye gets the upper hand this time over Atuma, which the first time Atuma defeats her because she's in her Midnight Angel's armor. But I was just really expecting more from the Midnight Angel's armor. I mean, it's talking about giving you superhuman speed, strength, all that stuff. So I thought they'd have been able to wipe the floor with the Talakanians at that point in time. And they won't even close. I mean, they
getting their ass handed to them.
Yeah, and then like they're getting cornered. Like it's like 12 of them left. Man, there was like 300 people on top of that ship. I'm like, dog, y'all got smoked, man. Y'all got smoked out. Y'all got all that heat. Y'all got all the fire. Now, Shuri manages to lure Namor onto one of their ships and fly him off to a remote area. Now, they've managed to create some type of force field and superheat it and dry him out, and he starts getting dizzy, and
because I guess if he dries out, he can't breathe because he absorbs the water. It was so fucking poorly explained and poorly thought out. But
and then
they put the guy in a microwave to dry him out, basically.
Yeah, and then another thing, that ship they had some type of sonar deal underneath it that was supposed to keep the Talakan people away from the ship. But for some reason, this one chick is able to get right up to it and start stabbing it. I'm like, so hold on, this thing is beat. It's whooping everybody else. Like, they covering their ears. They all frantic. And she's just like, shit, my ass, not today. I mean, just like, so what's up with this chick? Is she got some extra oomph today? Or she just, this is dedication. All right, this is what dedication looks like. That's what I'm getting this thing done today. Okay, guys. Just like, this sonar is whooping everybody else's ass except this one chick. And this one chick managed to get right up to it and just stab it right out. I'm just like, well, I guess you had to move that along so they can have a fight up on the ship. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it was slick. It was slick thinking with the sonar.
Yeah. I was like, okay, that's good thinking right there. And I thought maybe something else, maybe somebody would like shoot something into it or anything. But no, just one of them just decides to swim up to it and start stabbing it. So I was like, All right, so much for that. Okay, we have one who had enough strong will to endure the pain and go destroy your sonar. So we managed to get Shuri and then more on the beach, and then we go through probably one of the worst fight scenes in MCU history. Between Shuri and Namor, it was really lackluster. It was really bad. And one of the main things is because, as I said before, Shuri ain't got no skills. She just really don't. She's not a fighter. She's smart. She's in there building shit. I mean, that's what she does. So it's just like, and it's kind of like Riri. It's just like, she ain't no fighter. I mean, she just builds shit. And you just kind of seen the way she fights. Like, you're not standing a chance out here. You know what I'm saying? So we had that particular fight scene, and Shuri ends up coming out on top initially, but then Namor picks up the spear and stabs her with it, which it goes right through the suit. So I guess vibranium, which I'm assuming is what the spear was made of, would go right through the suit.
It had to have been.
Yeah, because it goes right through it and impales. I'm just like, oh shit, she's screwed. And then of course he's trying to crawl back to the water. Water. I mean, it always remind me of the good, bad, and ugly. That's what it reminded me of. Damn, Clint Eastwood out there, wanting some water. I was like, okay. And so, but her will to defeat Namor is strong. And so she breaks the end of the spear, which I guess just the tip is made of vibranium, and then the rest of it's made of wood.
Right, just the tip. Just the tip is vibranium.
Yeah, which she's able to break. I'm like, okay. And then she pulls herself through it. And then she manages to, grab hold of Namor, blow up the shit behind him, which scorches his back. And then she has him at the end of the blade and can end him right there, okay? But at that point in time, she's like, you know what? I'm going to take the higher road here. Even though Namor has killed a bunch of Wakandans, we've got all my Wakandans that were just killed on that ship. My mom was killed by Namor.
Well, you saw this coming a mile away. I mean, you knew she wasn't.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. But it was just like, not today. And at that point in time, they fly back, and Namor's like, hey, guys, because there was like 12 Wakandans left up there. It's like, hey, guys, don't kill him, even though you've killed everybody else up here. We're calling a truce. And everybody went home. It kind of reminded me of the movie Troy, when Achilles' cousin, it's either cousin or brother, when he gets killed, and they think they killed Achilles, and they find out it's his cousin. And then my man's like, all right, guys, enough fighting for the day. Everybody just kind of goes to separate ways. I'm just like, is this how it really worked in war? It's just like,
no chance. War, they killed you.
I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know. And so, I mean, at that point in time, I'm like, okay, all right, so is anybody pissed that, y'all just lost like 200, 300, 400 people? I don't even know how many people he killed in Wakanda. You know what I'm saying? Is anybody still got a little bit of animosity here, or is it just all good?
No, he just has to go, my bad. And they're forgiven.
I mean, that's kind of the way it was. And it kind of, I know that's the way it had to be, because they want to continue with Namor in a more prominent role, and I guess they're gonna have to, because Corey, when it comes to Avengers time, Bo, they're running out of men. They're running out of men that are Avengers. You know what I'm saying?
I think now there is a female copy of each Avenger. Isn't that the case?
Just about. I mean, it's just like, it's going to be like an all-women cast. I'm just like...
And they're going to make $10 at the box office. That's how that's going to fucking go.
Man said they make a cool $10. And so...
Like, these guys, It seems as though Marvel has enough deals set up for distribution and advertising and all this stuff that they can put out a total fucking dud and it'll still bring in like a couple $100 million. Really, I mean, it's just like a machine at this point.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. And so let me see. What's the box office? Do we got any box office numbers so far on this thing? I don't know if we do or not. You know how much money Black Panther's made so far?
No, man. Let me Google that right quick.
Forever box office.
It's made $545 at the box office.
545 million. So it's
Yeah.
been out 2 weeks, and I'm guessing that's worldwide, right?
Yeah, I mean they made their money back. The budget was $250 million.
Okay, all right, yeah. So
that means unfortunately we'll get another one.
Yeah, well, it said Black Panther will return soon. All right, so hopefully it'll be a different Black Panther. But so we end up seeing that Namor and Wakanda has created an alliance. Some of the Telecom people are like, "Why'd you do that?" And he's like, "Man, this is going to be great for us because we know the surface world is going to come for us for our vibranium." So that may be something that they explore potentially in Secret Wars. Maybe that's going to be an Avengers film, Avengers Secret Wars. So that could be something that they approach in that film. I'm not really sure, but
I don't think anybody's sure. I don't think the fucking writers are sure. I don't think Disney's sure. I think Marvel is a whole bunch of nobody being fucking sure.
Yeah, Phase 4. Phase 4 has been kind of all over the place.
Is that another way of saying it sucks?
Well, there's some good moments within it, I feel like, but I know this is supposed to be the multiverse saga. That's what the Phase 4, Phase 4, I think Phase 5 and Phase 6, multiverse saga. And I understand it's supposed to revolve around Kang. But I'm not seeing a whole lot of imprints as far as throughout this. Now, there may be some stuff, there's people out here who catch on the Easter eggs and shit, and I don't know how the hell they do that. They gotta sit there all day and watch this movie in slow motion, which that would make this an 8-hour movie if you watch it in slow motion to find all the Easter eggs. But I'm just trying to wrap my head around how this evolves into an Avengers movie. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. I don't think the Black Panther as a character offers a whole lot to the Marvel Cinematic Universe at all. I don't know why they're trying to push him as a character.
Not anymore.
Well, the character itself will obviously be pushed.
Mm-hmm. Now I understood it initially because in the Civil War movie, T'Challa's dad gets killed. Okay, and that's at Sokovia, if I'm correct. So T'Challa's dad gets killed. So his whole premise of that is trying to bring his killer to justice, and so that's how he kind of gets introduced into the fray, into the Marvel Cinematic Universe and into the Avengers per se. So I understood that there. That's why I feel like this movie would have been better served to just recast T'Challa and make a Black Panther film.
Yes.
Or if you were going to do this, just make it Namor and then have elements of Wakanda in it because that was what he was, they happened to be at conflict with themselves or between them two because of the vibranium and things of that nature.
I just find overall, when you compare Wakanda and vibranium to something like even just like the Avengers, the first Avengers, right? Like there's just nothing compelling about it whatsoever at all. Like there's nothing that would make me want to watch that over anything else. And that's a problem. They just, the character's not compelling. The storyline's not compelling. I don't really give a shit about vibranium or Wakanda or these stupid fish people. Like this movie just shouldn't have been made. Like at the end of the day, it just shouldn't have been made.
Man said it should.
Like I'm giving it like literally one cube out of 10.
Come on now.
2. I'll give it 2. 2 cubes out of 10.
Oh man, you going low? Why you lowballing them like that?
There was not a single minute of that film that I wouldn't have rather been like wasting time on Twitter or like anything else. It was somewhat torturous to sit through.
It was long. Now look, I'm gonna be honest with you. My girlfriend, first Black Panther, but she all into it. You wanna know how much she's in the first Black Panther? But she got Black Panther shit all over the place. She got stuffed animals. She got the damn action figure. She's got the magnet, but she loved it. All right. She absolutely loved it. First Black Panther. And then this one, she's just like, well, I want the first one. I was like, yeah, I know. The first one was a little bit more cohesive and definitely wasn't as long. I think the runtime was way too long on this. 2 hours and 41 minutes. They could have cut some shit out. They could have cut some stuff out and ended up being just fine. And
I completely agree with you.
Yeah, some of the stuff with Everett Ross, I didn't really need any of that. I didn't need, which I know she had to be in there, but I didn't need as much Riri Williams. And yeah, I think that would have shaved a good 30 minutes off this film. And it kept it around the 2 hour mark, which I think would have been fine. If they shaved 30 minutes off of it, it gave us something a little bit more cohesive, then I think I would have been fine with that. But I think they kind of extended it out just a touch too far, I believe, as far as this goes. Now, the mid-credit scene, because they didn't have a post-credit scene, the mid-credit scene is you find out that Nadia and T'Challa did knock the boots, okay? And Nadia had T'Challa's baby. And I know that what this is supposed to be setting up, it's like, baby T'Challa. So one day he will go and he would take over the mantle. I was like, yeah, but he got about 20 more damn years. Bo, this ain't no plan. You know what I'm saying? I know what they're trying to do here, but I'm like, y'all think y'all still going to be making these movies 20 years from now with the Black Panther? I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm hoping that Marvel is so diverse. I'm hoping Marvel is diverse enough as to that we eventually get a white Black Panther.
Diversify like that.
Or a fucking Mexican Black Panther who makes tacos.
Man said completely diversify your message here. Make me a white Black Panther. So I'm just like, okay, T'Challa had a son, and it's just like it has no impact for me because I'm like, man, he's a good 20 years from before he'll be able to do shit. I mean, he like a little kid. He like 5, 6. So to get into a mature body and all that, but he a long way away. I'm like, how are y'all going to get to that point? Are we all of a sudden going to have a time jump at some point in time? And like 20 years, we get 20 years into the future, and it's going to be something like that. I'm just like, how is this going to come about? Because I'm assuming that they were going to want to do something with that fairly quickly. Because Shuri doesn't seem like she wants to be the Black Panther. Like, that was kind of just a means to an end. Like, I drunk the stuff to see if it would work. Okay, I know it does work. And you see him replanting the heart-shaped flower at their facility. And so I know what they were trying to do here, but I'm just like, the timetable didn't seem to fit right. So there's going to have to be some type of time jump at some point in time, which I don't know if that's going to be around Kang, if he's going to create some type of time jump to where we all of a sudden just sprint forward 20 years in the future or something like that. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of, Corey. What do you think?
Honestly, I don't know. I have no idea what direction they're going to take with this. And like I said, I don't really think that they know what they're doing with it either.
Yeah.
I don't think the MCU has any kind of cohesive plan overall. They're just kind of fucking winging it.
I got to agree with you there. And there's a whole lot of things here they could have did better. And they've been missing opportunities on some of these films right here recently. They've been missing a lot of opportunities. This one, The previous film, which would have been Thor: Love and Thunder. I don't know. I think Thor: Love and Thunder was worse than this. I really do. And I mean,
it gets to a certain point where like you can't even compare. They're just awful to a point where it's no point in trying to compare which was worse.
Yeah. And I think,
honestly, I don't want to see any fucking Marvel films again. Give me some more of these Werewolf by Night type shorts, and I'll be happy.
Yeah, but you see, the Marvel films is what they're gonna do. I mean, you know what I'm saying? The big budget, big box office films. We got plenty of those on the way, which we know the next one is Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. That is the next one that's coming out February, if I'm correct. So yeah, we'll be on the lookout there. We'll be reviewing that. We'll be reviewing that, Corey, when that comes out.
We'll be reviewing it.
Yeah.
But one thing I'm really excited about reviewing coming up, December 2nd in theaters, and I'm going to go to the movies to see this one.
The Violent Night.
The Violent Night.
Man said The Violent Night. He said, "I'm ready for that particular film." Yeah, so yeah, that's our wrap up of Wakanda Forever. We want to know what y'all thoughts are in the comment section below, wherever you listen to us at with this. I'm gonna get mine right here. Let me get a drum roll for everybody at home, if I can get it. Let's see. And she's not rolling. All right, so I have no idea why it's not rolling, but that's fair enough. Four cubes. 4 cubes out of 10.
All right.
Corey gave it 2 cubes.
2 cubes.
At the end of the day, I mean,
was there a credit post credit scene?
No, there was just a mid credit scene.
What happened there? I didn't even catch. No. I didn't even stick around for that.
Oh no, that's what I talked about. The mid credit scene where you find out.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah,
T'Challa had a kid.
Right.
That in fact is the mid credit scene. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So the combination 3 cubes out of 10 could have been a whole lot better, but it wasn't. So this is what we got to deal with. I mean, that's pretty much what I got.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's pretty much what I got to tell you. So I want to know your thoughts on this conversation below. Anything else with people on this movie, Corey?
No, I just don't know where it fits in the larger scheme of things with Marvel.
Yeah, it's they're gonna have to do some work. They're gonna have to do some real work right here over the next few films. To get things moving in a cohesive direction.
Hey, I got a bold idea. How about they go back to just working on fucking comic books and make them good before they continue to make bad movies?
I mean, that's an idea. That's an idea. Will they do it? I'm not sure, Corey. So that's going to wrap up this particular episode. Showtime with the Cube, Wakanda Forever. Or Wakanda Not Forever, okay? Or it was Wakanda Forever because the movie was 2 hours and 41 minutes long, so it was entirely too long. So let us know what y'all think about the particular film in the comment section below if y'all went and watched it. So from your boy SQ420, co-host Corey Hughes, we'll catch y'all on the next Showtime with the Cube. Peace out.